This week we're beginning a two-part project to bring hope to my hometown after a devastating hurricane. It's going to be a very interesting week. I've been helping homeowners improve their home for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help. Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's homeowner is all about. Well, there's the exit. It's going to be a very interesting week. This is Marianna, Florida, my hometown. Since I left town probably 45 years ago, I've never been back for this long of a period. I'm going to be here a whole week. This is going to be interesting.
Okay, Hurricane Michael continuing to move towards the northern Gulf Coast. Michael is going to end up being the benchmark storm for our area as far as the worst storm ever.
In October of 2018, Hurricane Michael hit the Florida Panhandle, reducing many buildings in Marianna to rubble, including this one on the historic town square.
The wind just basically blew the front of that building out into Highway 90, causing the floor and the roof to collapse. I swear it looked like a war zone. The whole building was laid out like it just had thrown up all these bricks in the road.
You know, people would tell me that they would drive by this location and it was just an eyesore. It was a bad reminder of a bad time. So to take that and turn it into a bright spot and something that would be intriguing and inviting, well, my buddy Paul Donifro, second-generation architect, definitely got it. Before we even realized it, he had almost the perfect plan laid out that really energized everybody to get moving on this project.
These empty lots where buildings formerly were are a lot of times converted into little pocket parks, and it's just like the name says, it's a pocket park because most of the time it's confined on two sides by adjacent buildings and in the rear by an adjacent building, so it's literally like a pocket, and usually makes a nice little oasis so that people can come out and basically get away from the hustle and bustle of their regular workday life and enjoy a little peace and quiet.
I mean, you came here right after the storm, didn't you?
Right after the storm.
So you kind of know some of the things that happened.
It was a mess.
First of all, I just want to ask you, how does it feel to go home and see what Michael did?
It doesn't feel very good. I'm actually in the downtown area right now, a place I've spent a lot of time on, seeing buildings falling apart around here and just getting daylight, so it's just starting to sink in a little bit.
Now, what Danny did, I saw he posted on social media, he actually brought down supplies, generators. Danny, thank you for, helping some people out.
He called me and said, man, I'm coming down there. What can I do for y'all, bro? I said, whatever you can do, we appreciate it. And then he came down with generators, water, all kinds of supplies, and just gave it.
The sad parts about the hurricane is there's houses that are just missing, houses that were always there.
Right, and now they're no longer.
Gone. Yeah. You know, when you're living in an area that's gone through a hurricane, you might not realize the changes that are fairly slow. But when you're not there all the time, and I come back from maybe a year since I've seen it last, it's well on its way to recovery. You see this radio station over here? WTOT is the first one I ever worked at and the first time I ever touched a microphone.
Oh, wow.
WTOT, top of the town radio, Marianna, Florida.
We've driven by these places 100 times growing up, and usually they were met with an eye roll. But now that I'm an adult, I just appreciate it on a whole nother level, being able to see Dad's hometown through his eyes. The old Lipford homestead.
Yep.
Looks exactly like I remember it.
You know, I've heard a lot of people say when they go back to their childhood home, they're always surprised at how small it looks. Because when I lived there, this place was big and I could ramble around. And you think about all the hours spent out in that yard running around playing football.
Yep. Not only does this house hold all of Dad's childhood memories, but my sisters and I came here to visit our grandparents growing up as well. So if these four walls could talk, they would have a lot of stories to tell. Did you and your friends hang out here?
Actually, this field right here that we've spent more time there and in the woods. There's all the woods back in there. Of course, you've heard a lot of stories about Mickey Gilmore. Well, we actually met. A story he likes to tell is that when he first moved to town, he claimed that I was shooting BBs out there. I was shooting squirrels with my BB gun, which I did a lot.
So I went down the trail and I was going through the woods and all of a sudden I heard someone coming down through the woods. So I hid on the side into a bush. But all of a sudden I heard pop, 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 pop.
And it shot over his head and he hollered out, "Hey, I'm over here, I'm over here."
And it was Danny Lipford standing right there in his shorts, a white t-shirt, and a flat top.
And we've been friends ever since.
Oh, what about Paul and Victor and some of your other buddies that you're
Victor
still friends
lived
with?
in the neighborhood, so I pretty much knew him my whole life.
Wow.
And then Paul, I met him, well, actually playing football together. You know, it is very unique to have a group of friends that I went from like 1st grade to the 12th grade with, and still we're in close contact all the time. But now, to be working on this project together, now that's really unique. All right, well, let's go through downtown and I'll show you what's happening at Lafayette Landing Pocket Park. All right, I'm anxious to show you around. It looks pretty bad right now, doesn't it?
That's so cool. Was that, I guess that was behind the building?
Yeah, it was actually
Between the walls?
It was actually behind stucco.
Oh.
And they peeled a little bit away and they saw
A
that.
little piece of history
And
tucked
then they
away.
ended up peeling it all away, and then they applied a sealer to it, a clear sealer.
Cool.
So anyway, those planters, see, will start right where that starts. So there'll be 1, 2, 3.
And then the same on the other side. And then the stage is back there.
Right.
But you won't see the air conditioner, will you?
No, we'll have a wall right there.
Yeah, okay.
And it'll be 10 foot high, and it'll go down. Then the stage will be right in the middle. And
is this like the floor then, these tiles?
This was the interior floor. So, you know, we're going to take every bit of this out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
wow,
good.
That was
that's a good
easy.
sign.
Good start.
Yeah, maybe that won't be too hard after all. Well, we always have crazy weeks, but this one's going to be crazy. We better get a little rest here.
Pencil compass is great for drawing small circles accurately, but if you have to make a large circle, it's much too small. In this case, I'm drawing a 20-inch diameter circle. Now, you may have seen this trick for drawing large circles using a string. The problem with a string is that it stretches, so you don't really get a very accurate circle. So I'm going to show you how to draw a perfectly accurate circle using a yardstick. I started by drilling a small diameter hole through the 1-inch graduation, then again through the 11-inch graduation, because that's 10 inches, that's the radius for my 20-inch diameter circle. And I'm just going to use the 1-inch graduation as the pivot point. We're just going to screw this down right into that hole. You want it tight enough to hold the yardstick flat, but not so tight you can't move it. And now all you need to do is just swing it around. Look how quickly and accurate, look out, coming through. Perfect 20-inch diameter circle using the yardstick.
Simple Solutions is brought to you by Tight Bond, the pro's advantage. After the break, a phrase I never thought I would hear on a job site.
Google pink workbook.
We're in my hometown, Marianna, Florida, building a pocket park where a building was destroyed when Hurricane Michael hit the town. On the first day of work, we have plenty of help. You know, I've worked on a lot of community service type projects, and people are eager to volunteer, but not necessarily eager to show up. Well, folks showed up here, and they showed up to work. They weren't there just to get their picture taken. They were there to make this project a reality. We have people working all over this site, setting fence posts, pouring new concrete, repairing the old slab, and chipping away at all those old floor tiles.
I'm used to being around a bunch of guys, so when I spotted Michelle's pink work boots across the job site, I knew we were going to be fast friends. I'm very jealous of your boots. I've never seen pink work boots, and now I have to have them. Well, Google pink work boots.
I started coming across the pink ones, and I said, that's me.
I saw you sledging away. I didn't know if you were in the construction field at all.
Well, I spent my career in the military. I'm a former Army helicopter and airplane pilot, and I'm not afraid of hard work.
Ah, I love it.
Looks massive, doesn't it?
I think that pole right there will be probably the height of it, and we'll cut everything off right across there, and I think that's a good height because the stage is going to be 28 inches, you know.
Yeah.
So you're looking at that height, so
Okay.
I think that'll be fine.
You know, I realized on this project that I was going to have some boots on the ground to really make it work. And every time I mentioned it to any of my friends, they all said the same thing. Victor Vickery.
Well, I told my buddy Danny that I would help him at any level. And then he wrote me in to oversee all of that, which I didn't realize was a full-time job. I thought it was a volunteer position.
And one of Victor's jobs was working with the local high school to coordinate the construction of 6 large planters that will frame this park.
Man, I got to admit, these high school guys that built these things did a pretty darn good job.
Oh, they did. They did a great job. And you know, Danny, they did this in a course of a week. Couldn't be more proud of them, you know. From Monday till Friday, they finished the planters. And they're all sitting out there on that planter, you know, saying, oh yeah, look at this.
But look how much time it's saving us that we have these things already here.
It was a major plus for us. And they went extra mile too. They put extra support in here.
Yeah.
We stood the first one up and it was like, man, this is gonna look great when we get the rest of them set in here.
Now we can scoot it in place.
Oh, whoa,
watch out. All of a sudden, I heard the wall behind me crank up, and the problem was, I see Victor in front of me. I turn around, Chelsea, what are you doing?
Well, the best way to learn is to get hands-on.
Yeah, well, let's throw a bag of sand up there and let you practice a little bit.
Hey, Bear fully trusts me. Don't leave a key in your car if you don't want me to drive it.
Once we anchor the planters to the concrete slab, we begin prepping them for dirt.
So you see, basically it just sticks right to the
Oh,
wood
that's
on
awesome.
the inside. And even though it's pressure treated wood and we have it stained, still that moisture in there all the time like that.
And then this is just peel and stick stuff from the roofing aisle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just like an
It's like a
underlay,
roof.
like an ice and water shield that puts under asphalt shingles.
Huh. Hold the dirt and the moisture in.
Hold the dirt, a lot of dirt.
Yes.
Victor's wife Teresa is in charge of all of the planting, so she gets busy moving that dirt into the planters, but this is going to take a while.
Oh, no.
We just got it where y'all can do that.
Yeah, exactly. We lighten the load for you. You're just showing off.
Maybe a little.
Need another load here. Another load. So I walk over and I see the concrete and I see a handprint in it. And I said, one of these high school kids have put their darn handprint in the wet concrete. And I noticed the initials was very similar to yours, like exactly like yours.
Oh, wow. What a coincidence.
I'm telling you.
Wow, we got so much done on the first day.
I know it. With that many people working with us and everything, I was hoping we'd get a lot done. Actually, getting that last planter in place was kind of where I wanted to get on it.
It'll be very satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't even think they'd get that far with the stage. But look at it.
know.
So I think it's going to be pretty cool.
I know. All right, let's get this one done.
A lot of times on Best New Products, our products are very flashy and they help solve a problem. Well, I have a product here that may not be so flashy, but it certainly helps you with one of those home improvement issues that you may have. And that issue is that your light switch or your outlet may be too far recessed into the wall because the box inside the wall has been pushed too far back. Well, an easy fix for that is this little plate right here. Now, this is the Rayco Flush Fit Leveling Plate. And how this works is you unscrew either your outlet or your switch away from the wall, and then you want to take the leveling plate and you want to clip it right behind that switch or outlet, and now you want to tighten it back down to the drywall. What this does now, it allows your wall plate to now be nice and smooth and level with the drywall and also with the switch or the outlet. So if you do have a problem like that, this is a great fix.
This Best New Product segment is brought to you by the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Coming up, we're broadening the horizons of young minds.
What'd you learn today? Mom, I learned how to burp. You know.
This pocket park in my hometown is really starting to take shape, thanks to great volunteers from the local community. But of course, these folks are well versed in helping each other out.
We were here during Hurricane Michael. It was very surreal. It felt like a bomb went off. You learn how to use a chainsaw. I mean, we were on the chainsaw 15 hours a day.
everything was shut down, you take for granted being able to use your debit card. You know, you couldn't use your debit card anywhere because nobody had power.
For 3 weeks, you got no power. You got not a lot of anything, but you have each other.
When you have something that is as widespread as the damage from the hurricane, you know that everybody has to help everybody.
That's community. And Danny's really, he's a hometown guy.
This is really working out with all of these volunteers, especially the team from the FFA, and they definitely have the right supervision.
Tony, I tell you what, when I started thinking about this project, I really wanted to get as much of the community involved as I can, but I didn't realize that you were going to be able to bring so many students on.
Well, we have kids that want to get involved in these projects. That's part of our FFA motto, is doing to serve.
Yeah.
Learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve. And so we work with local hospice and other organizations to help out where we can.
It is really appreciated,
well,
and I hope they get something out of the day as well.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They will. They enjoy coming out. This is still school, even though it's not sitting down at a desk with a book, because real life teaches you a different skill set.
Have you ever been called a drill sergeant? Because you're sure keeping everybody in line around here.
I don't know about that, but they do know what to expect. Let's put it that way.
Chelsea Bear and I couldn't do this without these local volunteers, but I also brought some help with me to build the stage and the fence behind it. Andrew Powell is a carpenter in my construction company, and he's just the man to get this job done right.
So what I would suggest is just come right off the stage and just go up 8 foot.
He was my first employee. He was 17 years old, and that was 41 years ago, and he's still hanging in there. He still doesn't like me.
Well, I'm here if you need me. Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're setting posts for the entryway and cutting trenches into the concrete so we can irrigate all of the planters, including the ones we're building with this mountain of paved stone blocks.
All right, here's what we're going to do. This is landscape adhesive, and that's what we're going to glue all these blocks together. It's just that simple.
Did y'all learn how to use glue in elementary school? A little dab will do you? Yeah, Dad didn't learn that.
You know, more is better in many ways, especially with construction adhesive.
Normally I would disagree, but I think since it's holding these pavers together, that it's okay to do a little extra.
All right, good. Well, we used about 80 tubes, so that's good that you feel that way.
You take this. It's got to be really flush. Boom, we're done.
So my plan was to show the kids how to glue the pavers down and to build the retaining walls, and then maybe I would drift off. I was having too much fun.
So when I woke up this morning, I wasn't exactly sure what I was getting myself into.
When you put it together like that, you know, it'll do okay. But if you, what we call burp it.
I did not have in mind that I was going to be burping glue.
It actually introduces air into it. And all burping is just when you pull it up and put it right back down, and it pulls the fibers of that glue like that, and then it sticks really, really well.
But I did enjoy it. Me and my friends had fun doing it.
This is real life knowledge that they're learning right now.
Well, I could just imagine the girls going home and, hey, what'd you learn today? Mom, I learned how to burp. You know, I hope they explain it a little bit more than that.
Next, we start moving blocks to the center of the space to build the planter that'll be the focal point when people enter the park. This thing is massive, but it goes together quickly with all of these hands. After we fill it with soil, the day's complete. After Hurricane Michael, this empty lot was nothing more than an ugly reminder of the damage the storm has done to this little town. While many of the hurricane's other wounds had been healed, this scar was so visible it still seemed fresh. But now, it's also beginning to heal.
To see the community come together to take this one specific site that was destroyed by the hurricane and make something wonderful out of it is truly amazing, and it really does add testimony to the resiliency of the people of Marianna.
It's a monument. It's a monument to the recovery of that hurricane. It's saying it didn't whip us.
We're not giving up. We're going to work hard. We're going to rebuild. We will be resilient. We will come back.
You know, it's pretty amazing how much work you can get done with a lot of volunteers who are very serious about improving their community. I can't wait until I can show you the completed Lafayette Landing Park next week, right here on today's Homeowner. Thanks for joining me and Chelsea. We'll see you next week.
Next week, we finish putting the pieces together to complete this project to bring hope to my hometown. A project like this one requires a lot of work, and we couldn't have done it without the help of all of these businesses, organizations, and hard-working volunteers. I see no fires burning down by the lonesome railroad track, wrapped up in life's eternal